Last year, I joined the group buy for the Tiger Lite. It featured a TKL design with gasket mounting, all encased in a plastic body to boot. And by that time, it was considered to be one of the best budget boards around. I've waited almost a quarter for this group buy, and what I got from it is my endgame for 2022. If you told me that this year, for the same price, you're basically getting a Tiger Lite but with a CNC Aluminum Case and a cheaper in-stock price point, I wouldn't believe you. But this right here in front of me is that keyboard. This is the Monsgeek M3. As a disclaimer, Monsgeek did send me this keyboard to review, and this is my first time trying out a Monsgeek product, but none of that will affect my opinions on the said keyboard. I'm here to give you my honest opinions on the product, and I'm quite picky with this one since I'm an avid fan of TKLs. But moving on, inside the black and white Monsgeek M3 box, we get two compartments divided by the foam that houses the coiled USB Type-C cable, some extra screws, and an Allen key. The screw-in stabs unassembled, and some extra silicone gaskets. Moving over to the left side, we see the board itself, as well as its sports bake tape and manual underneath all of it. Finally, the board itself is encased in a nice plastic cover and a PA foam sheet. I got mine in this gorgeous lilac color, and upon first impressions, I really dig the design and heft of this keyboard. Weighing over 2 kilograms, this is one massive and heavy keyboard. The M3 is Monsgeek's third keyboard out of the lineup, which consists of the M1, which is a 75%, the M2, which is an 1800 layout keyboard, and this one being a standard ANSI layout TKL. This means you can use any standard 104 keycap set on this keyboard and it would fit in quite nicely. On the front, we have the aforementioned TKL layout with the thick bezels on the side. I measured the sides to be 8mm thick, while the front and rear is 10mm and 15.5mm respectively. This design reminds me a lot of the Rama U80A, and it screams premium to me. The front height is about 21mm, tapering up to 32mm on the rear. Something you should consider is maybe a rest for this, or even maybe lower profile keycaps, as the typing angle is quite high. Moving over to the side, we see a nicely indented accent piece that can be removed freely from the case. The lilac version of this keyboard has a silver accent piece, while the rest has gold as standard. This also doubles up as a nice place to grip your fingers to lift up the board. On the rear, we can only see the two-piece design separated by the seam in the middle, as well as the Type-C port flanked on the left side. On the back, we see 10 spots for screws to get into the board, some white rubber feet, as well as the Monsgeek logo and serial number on the center. Moving on with the build quality, this board didn't exhibit any exterior defects like dings or anodization mismatches, but I did saw some inside, which are to be expected. On Monsgeek website, there is a guide on the tolerances they accept for the manufacturing. Overall, the build quality and finishing on this board is quite superb for the price. Again, quite superb for the price they're targeting. Glossing over the layout and build quality, let's actually build this keyboard up. Building the board was easy and intuitive. I mounted in some Aqua Cream Yellow Pros and Aqua Cream Blue Pros on this keyboard, with the included PC plate and case foam, as well as the force brake mod attached. I didn't add the PE foam to not alter the sound that much, and I also use Aqua's MDA profile keycaps for that clean look, and hear it for yourself. As you can hear, the board sounds nice, due large in part to the switches, but also the 1.2mm non-flex-cut PCB. Speaking of the PCB, this board is BIA compatible, supports screw-in stabs, has south-facing RGB sockets, and is mounted with the daughter board to lessen any strains on the port while typing. I'm glad Monsgeek didn't went with the new norm of flex cuts on the design, as this board provides ample flex even without sacrificing the sound profile. Speaking of flex, this board uses a standard gasket mount design commonly seen on mid-range boards like this one. The M3 uses silicone gaskets as opposed to poron, and this affects the flex quite a little. But I'd rather have easily removable silicone gaskets than poron for ease of disassembly. But enough of all that. Why did I feel betrayed? Well, this board retails for $6,200 for the bare bones. The Tiger Lite, when it went up, retailed for $7,000 bare bones with a plastic chassis, not to mention I waited almost a quarter for that board to arrive. On the one hand, I feel betrayed that my previous board is a fuzz now, considering you have this option for cheap. But on the other hand, this is now a better and much more significant contender as the budget TKL to beat. Newcomers and enthusiasts into the hobby aren't stuck with the Tiger Lite or NK87 for this price point, nor they won't need to splurge more money for the Keycaps Q3. This M3 is proof that you could make a nice board that follows some design trends of the present but for a whole lot cheaper than the market. If it were only a Chang'an F13 layout, I would daily this, but that's just my preference. I know a lot of people in the hobby that just wants a nice bare bones TKL, and this is just the meaning of it. So, if you're eager to have a budget to premium TKL board in your collection, or you're just new to the hobby and don't want to grab a 75%, this board is the right fit for you. If Monsgeek is watching, I'd love to see this with another version, catered more on the higher end side. With Chang'an and Windows keyless support, maybe an option to have a weight on the back and more colors to choose from. For now, this will be along Monsgeek's other M series products as the best budget boards to beat bar none. What do you think of the Monsgeek M3? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm Johan J. Bingaba, and I'll see you in the next video.